systems change, and customized employment. Ohio Rehabilitation Services Commission, generating outcomes. Kevin Miller, Executive Director, Ohio Rehabilitation Services Commission.
When you look at, you had this type of level of funding, and now you're at this type of level of funding, that gap means you can't keep doing the same things that you were doing previously. But now, because employment outcomes are even more difficult to get to, and maybe because individuals who we're dealing with are more significantly disabled, customized employment seems to make a great deal of strides with individuals.
David Hammis, Senior Partner, Griffin Hammis Associates.
Ohio certainly stands out ahead of the pack, going from basically 0 customized employment discovery cases in the state to over 220 or so at the moment in less than 14 months.
It doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody, but it means it's one more tool that you have in that toolbox to help people get back to work or get into school.
Patty Cassidy, Consultant, Griffin Hammis Associates.
My role has been to provide training, technical assistance to one of the demonstration sites at Butler County Board of Developmental Disabilities. We went about this in a really unique approach. Individuals with disabilities were to select their own vendor, and we want that to happen throughout all of our systems. Customized employment is different from traditional practices of employment. And there was not a lot of strong supported employment service delivery in the area. One of the individuals does do that, and she was the one I think that has had the most success in that she was able to translate some of her current practices easily into customized outcomes.
Carol Buckner, Principal, Buckner Employment Service and Training.
Ever since he was a small child, the hammering has been something that he just really enjoyed. When you match up a job coach or someone that comes in to do the training, helping, is that they have the same interest. So I found a gentleman that is retired from the Air Force, and he loves to make things and build things. So him and Stephen kind of came together, and then they designed this wishing well. So that was our first product, is wishing well.
Brian Gerlach, Job Coach, Buckner Employment Service and Training.
Basically what my job is a job coach to work with Stephen to build his woodcraft products. One of the first questions I had was, does he make anything? And his mother answered to me, no, he's never really built anything. So I was just finishing up a little wood project of my own, finishing my basement. So we took those wood scraps, and the wishing well concept came from that, just scraps of wood that Stephen and I put together and gave it to his mom for Mother's Day. Well, to build the base now, what we do is we first purchase quite a few 2x4s, cut them in 6-inch blocks, and then put them in a circular pattern of about 3 foot or so. And we just hammer them on top of one another for several hours, and once we're through with that, then we can go ahead and make our uprights. Can you show them the uprights? That's the roof, the uprights. We make our uprights, and then we cut the lumber to make the roof with. We screw and nail those together and attach them, and before you know it, we have a nice little wishing well that someone can come and purchase. At the beginning, he was very, very proficient with his hammering, which he still is. We worked a little bit with using a screw gun, and he's getting a whole lot more proficient with that. But what I'm most impressed with is that he actually likes to use the power saws. And he has his own circular saw that he uses to cut up the 2x4s. At first, I would do the cutting and he would hold the boards. Now he does all the cutting and I hold the boards.
He just moved into Midtown Cabinets, which was another partnership in the community.
Okay, another product that Stephen's Wood Shop is now producing is the Bat House, which was a conception from Carol Buckner and his mother Gail, and together all of us come up with the plan of doing it. Stephen and I went ahead and cut a bunch of lumber up one day and assembled this here. We researched it, took some plywood, took some good ideas of other people's, added our own concepts, such as the web netting down at the bottom for the bats to grab a hold of. It is actually taking off quite well.
Gail Webster, Stephen's mom.
Well, when Stephen was 4 months old, he started having seizures, and we found out that he has brain damage.
He was in special education his whole life long. When Stephen was in school, one of the biggest challenges he had was focusing his attention for more than 2 minutes at a time, from the time he was in preschool till the time he graduated. And our prayer specifically for Stephen was that he would find a job in the community doing something that he loved to do. We had a big meeting and invited all of our family and friends, people who cared about Stephen and who knew him and loved him.
Jack Peeler, consultant, Griffin Hammis Associates.
I remember a session with about 10 or 15 folks from his family and his church and others where we just drew him up on the board and we drew all of his interests up on the board, and then we started just asking, well, who knows somebody who is interested in gardening or is interested in digger machines or knows something about that? Who knows somebody who is into carpentry and so forth? And you just get names and phone numbers and people start to contact him.
I think in any person's success, the social capital has got to be there. You're building their business all around the person. People know Stephen. He's gaining credibility as a business owner.
Part of the essence of this work is that we depend upon people's set of relationships to either the ones that they already have or the ones we can begin to build or grow to help them find the way toward the work that they're going to do, the business they're going to run, whatever it happens to be.
One of Stephen's passions is diggers. One Stop Tool Rental rents diggers, and so they got him there to help power wash the diggers when they come in all muddy, or cleaning up the parking lot, or straightening up the service bays, whatever they need him to do. He works there for a couple hours a week, and he absolutely loves it.
We didn't walk in and say, oh, do you have a job? We really got to know them. It was targeted that this is what he loved, and in some way we were going to incorporate that in his job.
He loves to go out with friends, with his best buddy, with his rec leisure coach, with anybody who will go out and play tennis with him. He loves to shoot baskets. He loves to go to the zoo. Pretty much a lot of things that a typical 24-year-old guy would do.
The idea is to think of this as a journey that has no finish line. The idea is to make sure we keep getting better as we go through this journey. And so when you come into difficult times, it means you got to start thinking outside of the box. This problem is not going to go away. And with resources at where they're at, you can't just think throwing money is going to solve these things. So it's not just an age thing, it's not just a gender thing, it's not just a generational thing. You're looking at folks from birth until the end of life that are going to need resources, services, and advocates. And I hope that in the future, our agency is going to be the one that they think of first when it comes to helping them achieve that.
Stephen Webster, entrepreneur, employee, athlete, outdoorsman. Griffin Hammis Associates, LLC, Ohio Rehabilitation Services Commission. Learn more at rsc.ohio.gov.